ignoring them now, just for a minute. But we are not ignoring the fascist movement in this country and the malignant fascists in the White House. Now I want to hear, all right, everybody, I want to hear the people in the back say Trump must go now. I want to hear the people in the middle say Trump must go now. All right, now it's your turn up front. I think we got to talk about a few things right now. Because what we're setting out to do is a serious matter. And what you have done today, what you have shown today, reveals the depth of what is in your heart. What is in your heart for humanity, for refusing to accept what others are going along with. What you have done today, and you need to think about this, that is that you, here in this audience, the 1,000 of you, have your eyes wide open and your mind open to seeing what we face is not just a single narcissistic megalomaniac. What we face is an entire fascist regime with a fascist movement that must be stopped, defeated, and driven from political power. What you have done today, what you have shown the world today, is an expression, a deep expression, and you have to appreciate this in yourselves, of caring and conscience, in answer to a question that is posed by Refuse Fascism in a call to conscience, a call to act. The brochure looks like this, and it's on our website. And this call to conscience, call to act, is a guide for the movement that millions of people need to read and sign and follow as we go forward. This call to conscience says, we stand up and fight for a future in which no human being is enslaved, is subjugated, or deemed illegal. A future in which the planet can heal and the people can be fit caretakers of the earth. It says there can be no conciliation or collaboration between the world we want and the country that they want. This is important, we have no common cause with MAGA fascism. I don't care if it's Uncle so-and-so or whoever. We have no common cause with MAGA fascism. And this call ends with this. Let it not be said, when there was still a chance to stop an unprecedented threat to the future of humanity, we did not rise to meet the challenge of our time. And let us not allow the world watching today to despair of our silence and our failure to act. Let the world see our determination and our courage and hear our righteous demand. Again, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. The Trump fascist regime must go now. Yet, as we stand here today, in the glare of this White House built by black slaves, another monstrous crime against humanity is going to be committed in 50 minutes. This fascist is going to sign a bill that is actually genocidal. If you look at what this bill does, as others have pointed out, and I'm not going to take the time to walk it all through, but lives will be lost. Immigrants and all kinds of other people are going to be shipped to camps. And yes, the person who said these are concentration camps is precisely right. Health care is going to be denied. I'm old enough to remember, or at least hear of that measles epidemic. This regime is bringing us potentially a measles epidemic. This is a bill that literally erases trans people. So yes, today we are letting the world see our determination and our courage and hear our righteous demand with a chant that must reverberate and ricochet around the world. Now, I have a question. Is this our band here or a different band? Can we ask them to not do this now? Oh, all right. All right, so for those of you who wonder why is our band playing this, they're trying to drown out some fascists. So that's some good, joyful noise, right? So look, I don't know about you, but I felt a lot of joy today. How about you? All right, but let us not speak falsely now. The hour is indeed late, as Bob Dylan said. And the wind is not just beginning to howl, it is already at gale force. So we have to be clear-eyed to see where we actually stand right now. We have not yet stopped the fascist raids on the immigrant communities.
Is this guy allowed to stay?
We have not yet stopped the fascist Supreme Court from tossing aside the Constitution that they are supposed to uphold with smokescreen words to go back to pre-slavery times when some people, the black slaves, had no rights that a white man had to accept and respect. A time when children and families were literally sold down the river, and is that not what is going to happen as people are thrown across the Rio Grande and across oceans and sent to camps? This is why Sunsara Taylor, a co-initiator of Refuse Fascism, said on the 28th of June, when this bill goes into effect, Refuse Fascism needs to have major protests and uniting in the immigrant communities to stop the fear, to stop the deportations. And we've not stopped the Congress from passing this malignant bill. We have to face that. There has been incredible complicity by the Democratic Party from in stopping this bill. So we are not going to be able to rely on them. They will not fight this fascism the way it needs to be fought. They will not fight this the way it needs to be fought, because they are more concerned with defending the empire they stand astride than in actually standing up to this. And I have to say this. When Representative Al Green was tossed out of the Congress, what a shame on a political party to sit there and wave their ping pong tablets instead of going out. So, this is what we haven't done. But what is the ground we're standing on to be able to do that? Number one, 5 million people came out on June 14th. That matters. That's the ground you stand on, but we have to do something with that. Refuse fascism in the face of threats from Trump, serious threats from Trump and the MAGA fascists, and in the face of the entire anti-Trump movement saying, don't demonstrate in D.C., we said we cannot cede the streets of the Capitol to these fascists. And many of you and 1,000 more took to these streets. And some people had integrity, like Rachel Maddow, to say, boy, were we wrong. What's the lesson? The lesson is that we have to continue standing up, that we have to continue fighting back, that people will learn from our example. They'll learn from the unity we have across racial, gender, religious, and political divides to stand against what is potentially going to destroy humanity, which is this fascist regime. What else have we got going for us? Well, the Battle of LA, and I'm not talking about Rage Against the Machine right now. I'm talking about the people who've stood up, as Sansara said, and put before the world what is happening to the immigrants. That happens because people have stood up and taken to the streets. And that is something we have to build on. So I got to ask you the question here, and I'm going to try to answer it for you. And this is also from the call to conscience, the call to act. It has never been, I'm going to say this first. It has never been done in an advanced country like this, where fascism has begun and consolidated through all three branches of government, that it has been removed by the people. This is the first time we are making history right now. There has never been this kind of resistance in a fascist country that's this far along, and we are very far along. Our call to conscience, call to act says this: there must be no business as usual when that business is cementing into place a fascist rule. We must aim for nothing less than millions in the streets in sustained, non-violent protest, demanding an end to every aspect of this fascist program, focused laser-like on one demand, a single demand: the Trump fascist regime must go. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now. Trump must go now. Trump must go now.
This sustained struggle must happen here in Washington, and it must happen in all the major cities and small towns of this country. There will be no going ahead with this agenda if we mobilize the masses of people. And what does sustain mean? It means unrelenting. It means not stopping. Everything they do, every move they make, we're not just waiting. We are not just watching, and we are not just complaining. We are taking the offensive, not just reacting to what they do, but taking the offensive, which is a beautiful thing to do. Trump must go now is a beautiful thing for the future of humanity. So that is the key thing. People say, how you gonna do it? Well, it's gonna take a lot of sacrifice, as Jim Keedy said earlier. And part of that sacrifice is your lives are gonna change. There's gonna be real sacrifice. But I'm talking about those people who aren't here today because they have family obligations. They've been working really hard for weeks and months and all through the winter, but they're taking the day at the beach. That can't go. We have to have the kind of movement, and it can start on one night a week or one day a week, but it has to grow. It has to be the kind of thing, as it says in the call to conscience, a call to act, that there is a political crisis in this country, that this fascist regime cannot rule. No matter what they try to do, they are stymied by streets filled with people. If we want other people in power to do something about it, that depends on all of you. Now, I want to say a few things. So why is that possible? Well, you need to see through the fog and all the noise that this country is shot through with divisions. It really is two countries within one border. We don't even share the same understanding of what is true and what is real. One side subscribes to all kinds of lunatic theories. The other side tries to base itself, like all of you, on what is actually happening. But these divisions go through every part of society. They're in the universities are splitting. The law firms are splitting. There's divisions in the hospitals among healthcare workers. There's now divisions between the district federal courts and the Supreme Court. There's divisions in the National Guard and the military, among the soldiers. This matters. You have to start thinking strategically, how are we going to do this? Bob Avakian, who Sansara Taylor spoke about earlier, who's written the Constitution for a New Socialist Republic and has social media that gives analysis and guidance all the time. You need to go to it at Bob Avakian Official, but he said this, the massive mobilization that I am talking about here could have a major impact on the dominant institutions of this country, with the possibility of creating the conditions that could cause major shifts and realignments among the people in power and in every institution. So you need to understand, it's not just we have to get 11 million people or 50 million people. We are acting on a situation where there's such sharp divides that we really could empower that decent country that all of you represent for. We could empower them to make it impossible for them to carry out their agenda and to make it such that they drive Donald Trump from office. In my lifetime, I have seen two presidents driven from power, Lyndon Johnson and Richard Nixon. And in both of those occasions, there were masses of people in upsurge. This can happen. And I'm taking the time to go into this with you because you have some work to do. You have some responsibility to be able to create that situation where there is such an offensive political crisis in this country. And a crucial part of this has begun in Southern California, as I said, in the movement around immigration. But again, I'm going to invoke Bob Dylan to come to a conclusion and put some challenges to you. We can't speak falsely. We have to speak what the real situation is. This regime is advancing. So the first thing we need to do is to recognize the power that we have. It's not just a cliche to say the people have the power. It's actually true. Second, to do what is necessary to stop this regime will require this. It requires that we unite very broadly and put a stop, as Sansara spoke about, to all the dividing, canceling, and all the nasty, self-satisfied, ignorant backbiting that does what? It strengthens fascism. I don't care if there's people I've disagreed with for decades. They need to be here, and I want to be with them because I want to stop fascism. History has seen what this kind of division does among the people, including in Nazi Germany, but also in this country. And number two, we have to do this. We have to deepen not just our own understanding of what we're facing, but the understanding of millions. Probably all of you are on social media. I want to say to you, get busy. Get busy. Argue with people. Put forward the truth. Be nice to people and get them on board. Join Refuse Fascism. We have to tell people that we need to, the second thing is to deepen people's understanding of this. Because if you don't understand what you're fighting, you're going to have a hand tied behind your back to be able to fight it. We have to understand, and they have to understand, that this is not just an authoritarian leader who's dictating this and that, but the rule of law will be gone. The right to dissent will be gone. And anybody in opposition to this, and he has said this, and I will say this for Donald Trump, every reactionary, pig-headed, narcissistic thing he has said, he has gone ahead and done. So shame on anybody who doesn't take him seriously when it comes to fascism. Maybe you cannot believe him about his golf score, but the rest of it is true. And they are stripping away, they have said this, they are going to strip away the right of naturalization and citizenship from people. They're threatening the elected mayor in New York City. He's not elected yet, but he's a Democrat, probably will be. And last of all, I want to speak to this. And I mean this seriously, and Jim Keedy spoke of this earlier. We need determination, and we need courage. This is not going to be a struggle without sacrifice. This is not going to happen without changing your lives. When we succeed, and I'm saying when we succeed, I know there's a big if there, but I'm planning to win. How about you? When we succeed, a lot becomes possible. A different world becomes possible. And so while we're fighting shoulder to shoulder against this fascism, we got to talk about our different visions for a future world. But all that talk will be nothing, will come to nothing, will mean nothing if we don't stand together to stop this. So that requires a lot of courage. And there's different kinds of courage. I'm just going to say this briefly to you. There is the courage of confronting the enemy. These people are serious. They have already shed blood, from Jews, Jewish people in a synagogue, to immigrants, to black people, to two representatives in Minnesota. This is serious business. I don't want to sugarcoat it. But if we stand together in our millions, we can defeat that. And we can overcome our fear, which is real. And Jim Keedy again spoke to this. You overcome your fear with a sense of purpose, a solemn sense of purpose. But don't lose your sense of humor. We should have some fun. But we do need that sense of purpose, which is why the slogan, "In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America," has to be the guideline of this movement, but also throughout society. We are not just talking about doing this for ourselves, or for our family, or for our hood, or for our city, or for our sports team, or for our goddamn country right now that's in the grips of fascism. We are doing this for the people of the world, and we feel just as much pain for the immigrants here as we do for the 15,000 people who have already died in Africa due to the cutoff of the needed medicine by this malignant fascist. And there's one other form of courage you need, and maybe this is the hardest one of all. It's intellectual courage. It's the courage to argue with your friends, to argue with your family, to be part of a group, and the group doesn't go along with what you're doing, and you have to struggle with them to do what's right. That's a different kind of courage, but it's an essential courage now, so that the 1,000 of us who march today become 10,000 and 100,000, and the 5 million become 15 million, and we actually bring this country to a halt. So that's what I want you to keep in mind. The moral imperative of, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. And let's say it again and again and again and right now. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. Now let's rehearse the biggest chant ever heard, and we'll get to it again a little bit later. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
What?
Trump must go now.
I can't hear you.
Trump must go now.
Let's shut these people up who are carrying on behind me.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Thank you very much.